شما دورانی محترم، زبان امروزی سمینار امروزی ما زبان انگلیسی میشه برای اجازه شما زبان انگلیسی. Welcome. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Professor Ito and representatives of Foreign Service Training Institute under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan. We planned these seminars for a couple of months ago, and we tried to find a very applicable and very necessary topic for this seminar, and finally we managed to organize it. The background of this seminar goes back almost 1 year ago, when His Excellency Minister Muhyiddin, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Tajikistan, was visiting Tokyo, a Central Asia plus Japan ministerial meeting. And during that meeting, His Excellency Minister had a short meeting with Akira Muto, former Director General of the Training Center for Foreign Service Training Institute, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan. Back then, from that meeting, we understood that taking necessary measures, just starting a real cooperation should be first stage, and then later we'll see if it's possible, we will give it into some framework. Contrary to our expectation that in our practice we first sign MOUs and then go for events, for organizing events. So after that, personally, I visited the Foreign Service Training Institute, and after that, I had a couple meetings with Ambassador Muto, and I was invited to a lecture in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan. I was the only person, not Japanese government, or Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the lecture of Glenn Fukushima, Vice Chairman of Securities and Investor Protection Corporation of US, who has been appointed to this position by President Biden, quite recently. Yes, in April or in March. It was very fruitful cooperation and fruitful meeting. So today, the importance of the subject is understood for everyone. I think there is no need to go in further on this point. Increasing instability of international security at the present force us to think and to reconsider aspects of our energy security. As you know, the energy security and energy independence was among the first strategic goals that Tajikistan has put, Tajikistan government put before itself decades ago, and we are still on the process. In the relations with Japan, sorry, some technical. In relations with Japan, I should note that along the ministerial meeting of foreign affairs within the framework of Central Asia plus Japan, the ministerial meeting of the energy was the second ministerial meeting that had been held last month here in Tokyo. So this shows the importance of subject, and quite recent event is the day before yesterday, exactly day before yesterday, in Brussels. Our Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister Mouridine, participated in high-level panel of European Union Global Gateway Forum 2023, where he also participated and presented Tajikistan green energy. Frankly speaking, Tajikistan has a great potential for green and clean energy, since we have access hydropower energy available, and we have water to fraction and to get just separate oxygen from two atoms of hydrogen. And hydrogen, as you know, it's at the moment the most valuable energy source. So, but as you see, we all know, we still are facing some difficulties on energy provision and providing energy, particularly in winter time because of river and river flows. So this subject is multifaceted and complicated. So it touches the management sphere, it touches scientific, lot of sides of the science and subjects. So for this reason, today we especially invited Professor Ito Shoichi, who is going to be the main speaker and the first speaker in this seminar. He's a senior fellow of energy security, professor, energy security unit in the Institute of Energy Economics of Japan. Main area of research, his main area of research is energy security. He has more than 30 years, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. In my count, it's more than 30 years, maybe 40 years. 30 years of experience in international politics, economics. He contributed to dozens, he wrote dozens of articles and contributed to about 10 books related to this subject. And he is another subject, he's also an expert in our region, in former Soviet Union region. Today's presentation is the global energy trends in Tajikistan, energy security revisited. So from his lecture, from his presentation, I hope we will have a scholastic point of view to our energy sector and our situation, which we are situated right now. So without further delay, I would like to invite Professor Ito to take the stand and enlighten us with knowledge, with his views on Tajikistan energy security subject today. Welcome. Welcome, Professor. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Ambassador for your very kind introduction. Once again, my name is Chito. I'm a senior fellow at Institute of Energy Economics, Japan, IED. IED is actually one of the biggest energy-related think tanks in the world. We have about up to 200 people working on the project, including this everyone. not just researchers, also representatives of major Japanese energy companies. You know, I'm very honored to be here to share with you all my insights. And I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Ambassador Darov and the staff of the embassy and the rest of all the friends from and in Tajikistan. Uh, Let me speak a little bit why I have very special feeling this morning before going to the details. As you all know, one of the most famous Japanese in Tajikistan up until today is the professor that I know. He was killed in the Seoul back in July 1998, and I was in the field for 10 years. And I'm working at energy think tank right now, but I'm trained as a political scientist, and I actually worked on comparative politics, on post-communist transition political economics, and I compared all sorts of experiences across the former Soviet Union republics and Israel. And I also worked on foreign affairs. So I have some international politics background and knowledge. Why I say that? Because with that background, I think what you will hear from my presentation today is actually a little bit different from most of so-called energy expert folks, because my approach is a combination of international affairs or geopolitics and energy issues. So with that, let me go into uh, the main topics of today. Okay. Uh, we have very limited amount of time, so I try to shorten my talks as much as possible to spare time for like a Q&A. And although I have more than 20 slides, what I'm going to do today is just as you see, five of the milestones on this slide. I'd like to ask you to think about what you mean by energy security with me at very first. And then I think we are all interested in the impact of the Ukraine war, which I have to discuss extensively. I just get back from my visit to Washington, D.C., where I go back and forth every other 3 months or so. And this is one of the main topics I did, in addition to what is happening in the Middle East. So we have these factors in mind. Then we like to look at how we should see the long-term global energy market. And then I like to reduce my focus on your country, Tajikistan. Then I like to finish my presentation by talking about the increasing importance of critical minerals, which receives global spotlight as of today. Well, I didn't go into every single detail I brought out on the slide, but this is the specific slides I have always used all over the world whenever I had lectures to diplomats, businessmen, even students. So in the world. What do you mean by energy security? When I talk about energy security, let's say in Tokyo, maybe the case is not the same across the globe. I have to expect different pictures of the security in front of more people, many people, or Ministry of Defense people. Because in the world, energy security is very single important term, which no one says not important. Everyone thinks energy security is so important, but as a matter of fact, we all have different imagination picture in our mind. It's such a jigsaw puzzle. I always say that even to my students. So when you play jigsaw puzzle, you may have just 10 pieces in front of baby, or you may have 5 or even 800 pieces in a single jigsaw puzzle. But it depends. So how you interpret very specific but very complicated terminology determines what you are talking about. Some people are just talking about, just stability of energy supply, or it's very important to get specific energy sources at competitive prices. That's not it, right? Sometimes economic irrationality matters. Just as we are just watching over what the Russians is doing, right? Just shut down big gas pipeline deal. It's a which I mean, as I said that on. So each, not just each one of us, also each country has its own peculiarities. And within your own country, everyone has different imagination. So please bear this in mind at first. Then, well, I think I was just a simple sketch of important factors when we talk about energy security. Uh, it's not just it. I was just talking about, let's say, simply economic energy aspects. I talk about the geopolitical aspect of it. This is what we call among energy expert folks 4 A's: availability, accessibility, affordability, and acceptability. Each country has different portfolio of energy sources. Even if you have specific energy sources, you may not get it because of the lack of money, lack of technology. So it depends. You never know. As what's part of the history, you can monetize, commercialize, see, and the resources and affordability. Every country has different budget constraints. Plus, no single businessman is ready to lose his money, right? So it's prices and investment costs are very important, and acceptability. This is particularly becoming so important year after year. Now that we are just facing serious climate change, in many cases, it's very cheap to generate electricity by burning coals. But we have to factor in environmental impact, and we need to have some explanation. I'm not saying coal is anti-important. Coal is still important, much more than many people believe. And this is something I need to talk about Tajikistan later on. This is something many people in the world still misunderstand. There are many kinds of calls, many kinds of technologies to use it in a cleaner way. Well, let me move on. Well, let me just. um, Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I wanted to ask some of the uh, what's the options each country can, factor in the process of making energy policies to achieve energy security in that about way you may define. It's very important that to diversify energy supply sources, not just on oil, not just on coal, not just on nuclear. So you should have lots of options. And it's also almost always important to improve energy efficiency because if you want to save money, you should save your expenditure on energy. And you should keep your eyes open for available new technologies. Sometimes they are just expensive, you may be able to use international financing or etc. 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 And if you have specific energy source, something indispensable to build your own country's energy system, it's important to build stockpiles. In case of Japan, we have 180 days equivalent of oil stockpiles. And it depends on each country. And in case of Europe, as we see later on, European countries are hurrying up increasing gas stockpiles, uh, especially I don't know. And as Ambassador noted in his initial remarks, increasing self-efficiency is also such a super important um, uh, factor when we talk about energy security in whatever way. And in case of Japan, this is one of the very factors. As you see, we still have some public difficulties to research reverse nuclear reactors. So even even when increasing energy self-efficiency, so self-sufficiency is so important, we may have we may face some difficulties. And very few countries can build strong uh, energy security system in whatever way you define, as you noted. Um, we need to think about our own country's situation in the larger international context. And uh, whatever energy source you need at a specific point of history, you need to consolidate, reinforce supply chains of the energy sources you need. Okay, process. This is just oh, sorry. Okay. Well, International Energy Agency, IEA, just published our latest version of our energy outlook a couple of days ago, October 24th. I just made a snapshot from one of it here. This is global trends the global energy market is heading towards. And I just would like to say two things on this map. Clean energy is becoming all the more important. And the specific message you get from public announcement of IEA's projection this time is that, well, in simple words, uh, Russia's gas future is doomed. That expression may remind you of the Star Wars, if you like that movies. Well, as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Russia actually lost its gas future. As early as 2021, the IEA projected that the share of Russia in the global gas trade will account for about as much as 30%. And now that they see it will be almost less than half of that, 15% as of 2030 in this decade. Soon, well, as you know, Russia itself, cut gas supplies to Europe. This is the political decision, economically irrational. This is something I emphasize at the very start of my presentation. Sometimes politics matters. This is something some business folks or so-called economists sometimes do not understand. Sometimes we need to purchase super expensive energy sources. Sometimes no. This is the irrationality and difficulty of understanding the whole picture of energy security. So, I will speed up my talk to leave some time for Q&A. But I won't go into the details of the slides. I just wanted to notice a couple of things. I just got this graph about IA's homepage, and actually, as of last year, 2022, Europe's dependence on Russia, actually gas dependence on Russia declined all the way down to just 10%. Okay, and and what's going to happen now? Since Russia lost one of its biggest markets, Europe, as the destination of gas supplies, you need to find a new market. That is China. China's gas market is still growing, not everlasting, but as a matter of fact, they have infrastructure. And when Gazprom suspended gas supply to Ukraine just briefly, back in 26 and 2009, European experts asked me to go over there again and again to explain what will happen. Because at that time, Moscow said more than once they're ready to transfer the gas supplies all the way from Europe to China. So at the time, many people are still understudied. And they gave me simple questions. What shall we do? Do you possible? My answer is just so simple. I just show the picture of energy supply chain. And gas pipeline to Europe, Asia are disconnected. And at the time, there's no gas pipeline between China and Russia, right? They decided to build the first one only in the mid 2010s. So that's simple. So sometimes the security topics are just rhetorical. They are substance. And what we can say for definite is that Russia's energy future uh, is completely dependent upon how much China is ready to buy oil and gas from Russia, but at the same time, China has already diversified supply sources. Without additional bit of gas from Russia, Chinese gas market is stable. In my calculation, at least up to the middle of 2030s. If I start to talk about it, I need a couple hours. I just stop. And just this is what happened to the European market. Uh, until recently, uh, well, Europe successfully beat up gas stockpiles, and while the dependence upon Russia declined drastically. And as early as last summer, a couple months after the beginning of the Ukraine war, everyone just in panic in Japan and else. What's going to happen? This is going to be the biggest energy shock. Even since we had the first oil shock back in 1973, it's maybe so. I didn't deny that. But I think we are too much in panic at the time. It is understandable if we just look at what's happening, summer last year, right? Oil prices shooting and gas prices forward. But as you see from these figures, the prices uh, do not continue to shoot up, right? In other words, we have more than sufficient amount of gas quantities, even oil supplies in the world. The most important thing is how we can use it. So to make long story short, no single country can dictate energy markets. The important thing is how we can use it. What kind of countermeasures we should have in advance. And this slide shows, okay, this one, electricity is fine. If we need to achieve the Paris Agreement, which I believe you all know that, by 2050, we need to reduce the global consumption of coal, as you find on the right slide. But the so-called net zero emissions scenarios based upon the picture in which what we need to do achieve the final goal. And based upon the endpoint, they made backcast analysis. And on the right slide, you see what the future energy market will be if we simply follow the policies every country already publicly announced. So you see the gap. Left one is forecast analysis. Right side is broadcast analysis. And well, you never know the so-called Paris Agreement is achievable, uh, as we believe as of today or not. We, they may have to, delay the target year or change the specific calculation of CO2 emissions. But one thing we can say is that, in whatever way we see the future uh, situation of energy-related CO2 emissions, introduction of clean energy is already globally more or less accepted uh, subject to the future. Let me move on to the issues of Tajikistan. Actually, as you know, the IEA published a special report on Tajikistan. Uh, so last year, excuse me, this one, this report was published in 2022, not 2022, sorry. This is just, sorry, I think the right one. Just a typo, 2022, so the very latest one. Well, okay, as you know, the drink energy consumption started to increase, especially from the middle of 2010s, and due to the increases of consumption in the transport sector, according to the gradual growth of the economy. And well, here you find the breakdown of total energy supply in some area and countries in the world. In case of Tajikistan, if we just look at total energy supply, the share of coal is still so big. Meanwhile, as Ambassador emphasized already, you have huge hydro potential, which contributed a good degree of greenness of energy usage in Tajikistan. But as I said already, it is also such a robust fact. You still need to use coal. That means we need to bear in mind we have a bunch of ways to use the same coal in a cleaner way. Okay. This is also side of energy ranges CO2 emissions. In case of Tajikistan, I think the slide you find on the up on the right of figure 8.3 is important. What does it mean? What's kind of message you should give on this slide? Well, to make a long story short, when we have energy growth, if you don't do anything, CO2 emission should also accordingly increase. But when we need to talk about climate change or effective use of energy sources, we need to think of how we can more effectively in more cleaner ways to use the same amount of energy. So in case of Tajikistan, the rate of the growth of CO2 emission is actually growing faster than the rate of economic growth. This is something we can do something more, perhaps in a wider international cooperation framework. And as for the fire energy consumption, well, in accordance with the goals of energy consumption, uh, particularly in the transport sector, oil consumption is growing. And so you need to be super careful about how we can sustain the growing uh, the growth of growing needs of oil supplies from where you import. I think in case of Tajikistan, you're importing oil products, including LNG, for the neighboring countries. So this is something we cannot ignore. It's just as a fact, but at the same time, in case of something, contingencies, we need to think about what kind of countermeasures we need to have in advance. Anything gonna happen tomorrow. This is the essence of energy security. And let me go forward. Uh, uh, Once again, Tajikistan is so much blessed with great uh, water potential, and you can use, the hydropower for power generation. Is such a big advantage, both from the standpoint of both energy self-sufficiency and the utilization of non-fossil energies. But as you see on the left side, figure 3.1, uh, uh, in a sense, still unfortunately, you have uh, gra- you know, gra- gradual increases of net uh, network, sorry, network losses. In other words, if you introduce better technology to use your hydropower in more effective ways, that's cost a bit more, it is better for Tajikistan not to lose this much network losses, because if you don't lose it, you can monetize it domestically and internationally. Well, this is a project I've been particularly in case of Tajikistan's globally hidden potential for the regional geopolitical and energy stability. That is Kasawan Salon. I haven't go into details because especially distinguished students from Akita University has one of actually one of the very basic experts in network sensor. So he knows what that. I didn't go into details, but I'd like to say one thing. We talked about this when we had one of the Central Asia and plus Japan conference. I think that was 2 years ago in Tokyo, and I chaired and I made presentation, and it's was the same story in it. Well, this particular spot, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and beyond, are such a geopolitical hotspot or Eurasia. And but the very Tajikistan has such a big potential to supply clean and rich energy sources uh, to the south. Both Afghanistan and Pakistan are in short of finding affordable energy sources. But once again, geopolitics is so complicated, but this is a spot we need to uh, receive more international attention. Why this project is so important? And this is something we can discuss later if you like. Well, finally, let me talk about a little bit about critical minerals. Well, as everyone knows, today critical minerals is such a very important issue when we talk about future energy market or paradigm or picture, whatever you call it, especially now that we are heading towards uh, low emission or decarbonize energy landscape. But introduction of green energy is not that simple. It does need huge amount of critical minerals. And and the supply chain is just in the making. And Central Asia, of course, in Tajikistan, has big critical minerals potentials, even if they are untapped. As I already talked earlier today, having something and monetizing the same set is completely different sometimes. And sometimes you can get extra money politically decided to make the best of potential for someone. Sometimes a project goes just business as usual. It depends. But I like to say that creation of new critical minerals uh, in the contemporary world is just rapidly moving forward. And this is another point Central Asia, including Tajikistan, should gather more global attention. And this is one thing I have strong complaints about the recent publication of IEA's World Energy Council. They don't have expert on this. Right? So we can jointly make extra efforts how we can make the best of hidden potential, very critically important potential of developing critical minerals in Central Asia, including Tajikistan, but at the same time, processing critical materials is sometimes emit huge amount of CO2 and etc. If you don't care about environmental impacts, it's maybe cheap and easy, but it's never easy. We need to make the best of hidden potential of critical minerals. At the same time, we need to make extra efforts towards greener and cleaner energy landscape. Well, let me stop here and thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. This microphone this thank you very much, Professor Ito. It was wonderful presentation. As I said before this starting of your lecture, that we are inviting you to give us some surprises and to give us some pictures that we don't see. I took some for myself. Yes, actually related to CO2, growth of CO2 emission in my economy of my country, and about your point about the productivity and the energy loss in our systems. Actually, Tajikistan has made certain improvement in ensuring in lessening the loss in low voltage networks. In high voltage, in long transmission, still we are facing this issue. To my knowledge, it in some places it increases. It goes about 20%. So you can imagine how much of energy we simply losing to this point. So I want to recall that our seminar is also has enjoyed, and let's say, by online visitors. We have students from Japanese institutes, as I mentioned, and we have personal colleagues from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have professors here from Tokyo, Tajik professor Mr. Sultanov, who is economist, who showed interest on this. So, as professor is here, I would like to invite everyone, if any question, any remarks from your side, please, floor is open. Welcome. Let's go.
Ambassador Jalolov and distinguished professor, thank you very much for your presentation. You have very clearly identified the energy security challenge in Tajikistan. So, am I audible?
Yes, yes, go ahead, please.
Even knows, even some, you have identified most of the, I mean, even just small challenge, I mean, even energy losses, energy saving, regarding energy saving. So, I should note that Tajikistan, with regard to the carbon emissions, the share of Tajikistan is, as you know, is miserable. So, Tajikistan has a great potential, huge potential. I mean, energy. I mean.
Well, I think we are having some issues here. Oh. Okay, Professor, if you got the point.
Yes, I have a comment on what the question.
It is regarding smart mining.
Mm-hmm. This is something now. I'm not really a technical expert. This is something we need to alert the international community, including Japan and especially the rest of the West, including the United States, because as I mentioned briefly in the last part of my presentation, the building new supply chain of critical materials is becoming more and more important. And this is happening in North America, Australia, in Africa, in many parts of the world, given that our future trajectory towards clean energy energy landscape is already irreversible. And this is a high time we need to gather correct international investment. And to make a long story short, based upon my personal experiences, we need to make extra efforts why this particular spot of in Eurasia, Central Asia, including Tajikistan, is so important, not only for the standpoint of targeting clean energy future, but also at the same time, together with the sustainable development of energy system, including critical minerals, it will have good geopolitical implications to have multiple, especially Western, including Japanese stakeholders in the picture. Did I answer your question?
Oh, thank you very much.
I hope we can find a way, and we have representatives from the Japanese government. I think they also think about it.
Thank you, Professor. Any questions? Any other, please? Present students or online?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Troy, for an interesting presentation. We wanted to know your opinion on what are the main challenges and risks facing energy security in Central Asia, and how they should be addressed in the interstate and in regional policies.
Yes, thank you very much for very excellent question. This is something I have discussed across the board, even among experts and with many policymakers in total market, etc. And we have to think about this specific question in a broader picture. Well, energy is actually one of many questions. We believe as so critical. And what is happening in the world today is the question of not just energy security, but also economic security. And once again, it depends how you define economic security. But I actually address this issue as such. I think we are entering new stage of world history in which what kind of basic rules we should have in global economic order. And some people talk about the rule of law. The others talk about, just the other way around. But unless we have minimum or more than that level of common understanding in which we can guarantee transparency of economic rules based on rule of law, it is very difficult to collect international investment effective way. So I think we have to make a very critical political decision how we can gather, how we can frame would be investment portfolio. Last but not least, actually potential is there. Money is also here. The question is how we can combine these. And we need to have common interface to have mutually beneficial economic or even energy system. And this is something I think Central Asia, including the beautiful country and Tajikistan, can discuss more deeply and substantially with Japan and the rest of the West. And I'm looking forward to working more with your beautiful country and with beautiful water. I still believe that, let me just say, Tajikistan has the best vodka I ever had. And this is something I have to find a way to have the internet market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charito, for a wonderful presentation and answer. If as well, understand we're a little bit late in our schedule. We have just been joined by two participants from the ministries of Japanese government who will be working in the embassies of Japan in Central Asia and Caucasian countries. We have Ms. Kiyokawa Hanna, Prime Minister of Economy, and Mr. Funata Hiroaki from the Ministry of Defense, who we will welcome. And as per our schedule, they're going to have presentation or presentations. Which one?
Presentations.
Okay, two separate presentations for the next half an hour. So by months and this Professor, you are doing that, right? Oh, okay. Then, okay, I'm glad that we can stay. So I, without any delays, I will invite you to come to the front and make a presentation or lectures, what you have. Please, Miss Kiyokawa, please. Yes, please, floor is yours. Okay, yes, they are trainees of the institute, right? I mean,
Yes. Oh, they are now in our foreign service training institute. And then two trainees are going to have presentation about their job and also the relation between Japan and the Central region. So first of all, Ms. Kiyokawa will have the presentation. So if you have some questions, please after this.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking your time to listen to my presentation today. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to talk with Tajikistan diplomats working in Tokyo as I will be posted to Azerbaijan. I really respect you all who are building strong relationships with Japan. I'm not fluent in English, so my presentation may be a bit rusty. but I would like to briefly talk about my work at METI and our relationship with Central Asia. So I would like to begin my presentation by giving you a brief overview of my background. I have experienced 7 different posts in METI in my career. I joined the Ministry of Trade, Economy and Industry from 2012, the year after the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident. So I remember that the METI building was built at that time to save the electricity. So I was first assigned to the Distribution Policy Division of Commerce and Distribution Group. This section was in charge of retail industry, like department store and convenience stores, which were familiar to all people. The most difficult task at that time was coordinating with industry regarding the consumption tax rate increase. So next, I was assigned to Economic Partnership Division. At that time, I was in charge of Japan EU EPA and Japan Turkey EPA and the cross-border transfer to personal information. At that time, I went monthly duty trips to Brussels and Ankara. So this is the, for me, it was the time when I joined international policy. So next, I was assigned to the Oil and Natural Gas Division. In this division, I was in charge of Southeast Asia, Iran, and Central Asia. This was the first time I was assigned to Central Asia. I was only able to go on business trip to Azerbaijan, Iran, and Thailand. The next slide. I was transferred to the Policy Coordinating Division in the Trade Policy Bureau, which is responsible for overall policy coordination of the trade policy. In a new field of job, I engaged in organizational reforms and back office operations. Next, I was transferred to the Cabinet Office, which is responsible for promoting foreign direct investments to Japan. It was very valuable experience for me to be involved in the work of Prime Minister's Office through the Council of Economic and Fiscal Policy. Next, I was transferred to the Nuclear Policy Division, where I was in charge of international affairs, including the United Kingdom, multilateral policy like OECD or IAEA, and export control. The Nuclear Energy Policy Division was very difficult section because it requires knowledge of specialized area for the technologies. And now I am assigned to the Automobile Divisions of the Manufacturing Industry Bureau. I'm in charge of Russia, Central Asia, Africa, and Middle East as an international officer. I am very happy that Japanese automobiles are loved in various countries and recognized as wonderful products. Yesterday, I went to Tokyo Mobility Show and support Prime Minister visit to Tokyo Big Sight. So having experience in various posts, I would like to explain my view of the relationship between working at METI and Central Asia. First of all, I believe that the countries of Central Asia are very pro-Japan and have a mutual desire for friendly relations. When I mention the name of Japanese countries like Toyota or Intex, personal people in Central Asia knew us well. And second point, I used to work at Energy for Natural Resource and Energy. Then Central Asia countries have resources that Japan does not have, and Japanese companies are also operating or joining the project in these countries. They are the source of not only in oil and gas, but also uranium minerals and critical minerals. So last September, METI Minister Nishimura established the Ministerial Economic and Energy Dialogue of the Central Asia plus Japan Dialogue, and held the first dialogue with ministers from 5 Central Asian countries. And I am very happy to see that the projects are being conducted not only to obtain the resource from Central Asia, but also to improve people-to-people exchange, such as education and human resource development. In addition, I have heard that some countries are negotiating investment agreements that will be bilateral economic relations closer together. I hope that negotiations will proceed with the aim of strengthening relations between the two countries. Finally, I like mountain climbing, and I look forward to climbing or hiking any famous mountains of Central Asia. This picture is the Pamir Mountains taken by me from the airplane. So thank you very much for your valuable time for me. And as new diplomat starting next year, I will do my best to be a bridge between Japan and Central Asian countries. So thank you very much for kind attention. Spasiba.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Yes, now we'll invite next speaker, please, Mr. Kanata. Without further delay. Okay.
Меня зовут Tajikistan, я военнослужащий Санкт-Петербургского самообороны. Сегодня я расскажу вам о моей организации. К сожалению, я плохо говорю английский. Разрешите мне говорить по-русски. Плохо говорю по-русски.
Нормально?
Нет, нет. Расскажите мне говорить по-английски.
Наоборот, да? Хорошо, пожалуйста, говорите.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, Your Excellency. General of University. Firstly, I heard you studied at the graduate school before.
Yes,
Actually,
yes, so do this.
I also studied there.
Oh, really?
I-
So, school mafia is here, huh?
Already.
I'm joking.
I completed my master's degree at the graduate school in 2002, and after that, I enrolled in the Japan Ground
Oh,
Service
interesting.
course.
Which institute? 2002.
Information science?
Shako?
No. Information technology.
Information technology.
Right.
I graduated from Shako in 2004.
Oh, great.
So when you graduated, I did get enrolled in master course.
That's it.
Yes. Yes, please tell us.
That's it. I'm going to be assigned as the Japanese defense attaché in Kazakhstan next summer. So today, I'm really honored to have the opportunity to introduce my organization to you. And on behalf of the JDSDF, let me provide you with a brief overview of our activities. And I think you already have the booklet providing information about my organization. These booklets are published last year, and their latest one hasn't released yet. So I'm afraid these booklets are with a slightly outdated information, but I believe you can understand through these booklets to understand my overview of our activities. And please open the first page, page number 1 and number 2. This page shows how we, JDSDF, recognize the security environment surrounding Japan. We have concerns about the competition between so-called authoritarianism attempting to change the status quo in several areas in the region. And to prevent any conflict in these areas, our organization is committed to strengthening our capabilities and enhancing relationships with like-minded countries. So please turn to the next page number 3 and number 4. These pages show what kind of capability and matters we are currently focusing on enhancing. In particular, strengthening the Japan-US alliance and promoting security cooperation with the armed forces of several countries are critically important. To promote cooperation, the JGSEF is expanding its activities with partner countries such as high-level exchange programs for capacity building support, joint exercise and participation in multilateral frameworks, and so on. And please come to page number 9 and number 10. These pages explain the various activities that the JGSEF conducted with allied and partner countries until the beginning of 2022. Other than these activities, we invite military medical personnel from Kazakhstan to Japan and conduct a exchange program to exchange opinions regarding military medicine. In March 2023, the armed forces of Kazakhstan sent 2 experts in CBER. CBER means chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear matters to Japan, and have an exchange program with staff of the JGSEF chemical school. Unfortunately, the JGSEF hasn't established specific cooperation with your army armed forces, but to date, however, we acknowledge the significance of promoting cooperation with Central Asian countries. I'd like to put in the effort to enhance the relationship between the self-defense forces and the armed forces of the Republic of Tajikistan. I conclude my briefing. Спасибо за внимание.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Yokawa and Mr. Nata, for your presentation, for giving us insight about your institutions, your ministries, which you are from. And I may say you are welcome to Foreign Service, because you are going, in my understanding, this is your first appointment to the embassy. For you, no? And for you, Mr. Shinata, is it also the first time you are going to abroad, or you have been already?
I've been abroad, but it's the first time for me to go to.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm saying. So you're welcome to Foreign Service, and we're glad that you come and share with us, so we understand how the Japanese Foreign Service functions, and how it is what kind of interaction is happening between the ministries and institutions. So we still have some time. Here we have Mr. Tajima Kinori from the Foreign Service Institute. If you wish to, if you have some words, please, you can come from and express the point of view of your, because you are co-organizer of this seminar. I'm sorry I'm taking the floor always, but Yes, please.
Okay, today, thank you very much for participating in this cooperation and exchange program between Japan and Tajikistan. Well, this is the first trial. Well, I was very nervous, but well, all the participants are so welcome, and as you, I'm very pleased that His Excellency, Ambassador General, and other members of the embassy prepare a good opportunity. So today, well, we offered to run a lecture by Mr. Ito, and that is very valuable for all of you, and of course for ourselves. And it's very nice lecture. I'm very sorry. And two ladies are going to establish a word in next year, maybe. So, well, they are studying language and other issues, foreign policies, and some issues we need to learn before going to abroad. But this opportunity is very valuable for them and for each other. So that's a good cooperation program. So thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tajima. Indeed, Japan has been making a great contribution to capacity building for Tajikistan. And myself, I'm, as always, Mr. Funata said that I'm also graduate from Tsukuba University. Unfortunately, the year I was enrolled, he already graduated, so that's why we can cross. But and Mr. Ito also you made your doctor or master?
I didn't finish writing up. I did my BA and MA, and I spent 10 years over there.
Oh yes. So, but frankly, we are not the biggest representative. The biggest representative, the guys from Akita University. This is our Tajik students who are joining us. They are enjoying their studying. The start of this year, right? All of you. Half of them are with the GDS scholarship, and half another with a project which Akita University is implementing in Tajikistan. Big project with which we also have the training capacity for graduate schools, for graduate students, which is the project is directly related to energy, to today's subject, energy saving and energy consumption, which is in his presentation, Mr. Ito, I would like to go for some small conclusion that among other, the supply and other issues, we also think about the diversification of the energy sources. So not only harvesting, but saving, but using other type of energy sources that we have. And the way forward to ensuring energy security, which in our terms we call it energy independency. So I hope today's seminar will make some small neat maybe contribution, but still it is something forward. So if there is no questions from online participants, I would like to conclude today this seminar here, because yes, please, Minister of Foreign Affairs, I see.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. I would like to express my gratitude to organizer, co-organizer, and to the presenters for this organizing this event. It is very timely, I think, because of this the two ongoing conflicts impacted a lot. I mean, the energy security issue. So I mean, Russia-Ukraine conflict and Arab-Israel conflict. So as we know, if we recall the previous conflicts, you know, they had a huge impact, especially, I mean, in 80s, Arab-Israel conflict, it brought to the collapse even of the Soviet Union. I mean, this is it is a very timely event. And thank you very much. I think it will be very useful if this kind of gatherings will be continued in future in various sectors, in energy or in other sectors. Thank you very much.
Thank you for wonderful remarks. Indeed, this is as Mr. Tajima noted, we all were nervous because this is the first stage, which we are going to organize. We are going to continue these initiatives with the Training Institute under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And here, I would like to invite the participants to enjoy some Tajik cuisines which we have prepared. Unfortunately, we cannot transmit this online. Some Tajik cuisines which we have prepared for our guests in the embassy. Wish you all the best and thank you for the participation.
Can I say
Yes.
say some words?
Okay, just please.
My name is Kadir Bajan. I'm studying in Akita University. It's my first year, master first degree. I just want to say thanks for government of Tajikistan and government of Japan for giving us such as a good opportunity to improve ourselves. And I just want to be like thankful. And after 2 years, we became more clever, more stronger, and I hope that we will improve ourselves not only in the economics and the geology in every science. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the warm. Big applause to all of us. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for participation. Please
Thank you.
enjoy yourself. Project. Thank you. Oh yes, why not? I will take the collective. Yes.
Yes, because there was first man I wanted to ask email.